Hi, this is Mike from Mike's Unboxing Reviews and How To, and on today's video we'll be taking a look at something a little bit different. This is a set of rechargeable wireless stereo TV headphones, which you can possibly win. Keep watching to find out more. Okay, so in today's video we'll be taking a look at these rechargeable wireless stereo TV headphones. Now for me actually this is the first time that I've actually seen a device like this, so I was quite interested to see what it's all about. So we're going to do the usual thing, we're going to go through the packaging, see what we get inside. I have actually listened to these already, so yeah, spoiler alert, I know what they sound like already, so we'll be discussing that a little bit later. But first of all, we'll go through what you get, what your expectations are, how flexible these are, all that kind of good stuff, and then at the end I'll give you my kind of final thoughts and also the pros and cons. Also, you'll be able to possibly win these as well. So if you're a member of our Discord community, which is completely free to join, there is going to be a giveaway room. So you can join in and all the items that are up for giveaway will be added and you can choose to enter or not. The choice is entirely up to you. But you don't know if you're going to want it until you've seen the review. So keep watching to find out what it's like. So first of all, let's go through the packaging. So packaging actually looks pretty smart and it does pretty much say everything that you want to know on the front of the box. So it's got a Toslink input, it's got an RCA input, and it's also got a 3.5mm standard jack plug input. So that gives you a lot of flexibility. So whether you're connecting this to a PlayStation, a TV, whatever the device may be, this is going to give you that little bit of wireless freedom that you wouldn't normally get. One of the benefits of this is the fact that it runs on 2.4 gigahertz. So no Bluetooth, which is a great thing because Bluetooth generally introduces lag. And there's nothing worse than watching something on YouTube or TV or a movie or whatever it is you're watching for the lip sync to be out. It's an absolutely horrendous experience, and yeah, Bluetooth for watching TV and watching videos generally isn't the best unless you're spending an awful lot of money. Now talking of money, this at the moment retails in the UK on Amazon.co.uk for around about the £70 mark. I will be putting some links in the video description which you can check out and see all the details in full there, and also for local links around the world. So what else does it say? So it's a rechargeable wireless stereo TV headphones. So rechargeable is great. It's got a built-in battery pack of around about 800 milliamp hours, and that gives you approximately, give or take, about 18 hours of playback time, and the charging time is generally less than 4 hours. So it's a relatively slow charge, so you're not going to destroy the batteries as you can with some of these other devices where they charge really, really quickly, but it just completely decimates the battery in no time at all. This is going to do it carefully, steadily, and going to give you great battery life. 18 hours is excellent, and obviously it's unlikely that you're going to sit in front of the TV for 18 hours. Well, you might do, but yeah, it's probably best not to for your own health. So this is great. The actual dock itself is actually a charging station. So all you need to do when you finish listening, just take the headphones off, stick them on the dock, and they'll start charging. There's LED lights on there as well, so you can tell the charging status, so you know exactly if they're going to be ready or not. Now one good thing, if they're not actually charged, then you can just use a regular 3.5mm jack plug. There is actually a connection on the headset itself, so you can just plug it straight into a compatible 3.5mm jack without the need for any power. So moving around onto the side of the box, it tells you what is actually inside there. So we've got the actual headset itself, we've got the charging box, and also we've got the accessories. So you've got your Toslink cable, 3.5mm cable, a phono splitter jack, and also you get the instructions, etc. On the back it's got some basic instructions, so how to get it all set up, so feel free to pause the screen, you can take a quick look at that. And on the other side we've got our technical specifications, again same deal with that, but essentially it's working on the 2.4 to 2.48 gigahertz spectrum, so basically with that you get really good distribution. With Bluetooth normally it cuts out after about probably somewhere between 5 and 10 meters, it's not particularly accurate, and obviously you get that lag as well. But with this on the 2.4 gigahertz spectrum you can be anywhere up to about 50 meters away with line of sight. So you can basically have the TV running, you can walk around the house, do whatever you need to do, go to the bathroom, etc., and you're not going to miss any of your favourite shows. Audio-wise, you've got a gain of 85 decibels, which is pretty much where you're looking normally for most headsets, so that's pretty decent, and you've got low distortion as well. It tells you about the power ratings and the frequency response. So frequency response is pretty much standard, from 20 Hz up to 20 kHz, so that is a pretty broad spectrum, and that is plus or minus 3 dB. Input wise is DC 5 volts 1 amp, and there's a plug for that as well included, and obviously depending where you get it from, your plug for your particular region will be included. And as it says there, playtime is 18 hours and charging time is just less than 4 hours. Obviously if you're not completely discharging the battery, it's not going to need the full 4 hours to recharge, so if you maybe use it for a couple of hours, put it on the dock, you'll probably find it's charged in about half an hour or so. So feature-wise, this works well with all TV sets, including smart TVs, etc. Watching TV without disturbing others, easy to set up, charge and use, playtime, etc. We've gone over before, but yeah, essentially it's very easy to use, and with those extra different connections on there, you can plug it into pretty much most TVs and get a working solution for you. So let's take it out of the box and see what we actually get. So this is the main package itself, so let's have a look at some of our accessories first of all. So we get our phono lead, which converts into a 3.5mm jack. To go along with that, we do get our 3.5mm jack plug, so that's the same both ends. So you can either use that directly, plug it into the headphone socket on your TV and plug that into either the headset itself or into the actual charging base. Or if you want to, you can use it as an adapter, and then you can take your phono output from the back of your TV and plug that into the back of the unit. Again, lots and lots of flexibility there. Also, you get your optical Toslink cables, so you can use it on supported TVs or devices, stereo receivers, that kind of thing. Also, you get your charging plug, which actually has a little LED on there, so you know if it's on or off, which is quite handy. And it's got a standard barrel type connection, so you can, if you want to, buy extensions for this, if for some reason you don't have a plug nearby where you want to plug in your receiver. Also, we get a set of instructions, which is pretty easy to follow and tells you all the ins and outs and what all the buttons do, but essentially it's pretty much straightforward. So next up, we've got the actual headphones themselves and also the base station or charging station. Taking a look at the base station, first of all, as you can see, it's finished in what I can only describe as a odd colour. For some people, this may be absolutely fine because they're probably going to maybe hide it out the way. But for me, I actually like the look of this, and with the headphones actually on the stand, as it would be, it's something of a status piece, and it does look pretty smart. But for some reason, they decided to finish it in this kind of slightly dark green. I don't quite understand that. For me personally, I would have much preferred that to been in a black or charcoal or even a silver, that kind of thing. But again, it doesn't affect the actual use of the device, just the aesthetics of where you're going to put it. So looking at the device itself, on the front we've got the control panel, so you've got the option there for switching between the auxiliary input, which will be your 3.5mm jack, or to your optical, so you just move the switch and then that is an optical mode. Obviously if you want to, you can have both these connected at the same time and just switch between the two. You don't have to be limited by one connection or the other. In the middle here we've got our section which is adjusting the gain, so if you've got a particularly hot signal or a very loud signal, you can reduce it down by 8 decibels just to make it so it's a little bit more comfortable to listen to, and possibly to remove any distortion if there's any distortion in the feed. Also at the bottom we've got our source indicator light and our operation light. Now these flash accordingly when you're synchronizing, etc. And you've also got your on-off switch, so if you want to you can turn the whole thing off or turn it back on. Now this does come in handy. Sometimes if you want to you can reset the signal between the two. It is automatic pairing, so when you first use it and charge up the device, when you turn them both on they will synchronize between each other and automatically pair. Much like a Bluetooth device would, but without the lag. Moving around to the back of the device, so we've got our optical input, we've got our auxiliary input, which is that 3.5mm jack, and at the bottom there we've got our DC 5V input. On the bottom, we've got 4 rubberized feet to keep it nice and stable on your desktop surface, and as you can see it doesn't really want to move around, so if you've got a slightly shiny surface and you're just dumping your headset on the top for charging, it's not going to be moving around too much, so that's a nice thing to see. So let's take a look now at the actual headset itself. Now this is a headset, I keep on calling it a headset, but technically it's headphones because it isn't a set, so it doesn't have a microphone built in, it is purely stereo speakers. But even though it's stereo speakers, you do get the option for slight EQ adjustment. So there is actually on the side control buttons, so you've got volume up and down, and also you've got an EQ button. Now the EQ button goes through various modes of standard sound, increased spatial sound like a virtual 7.1, and also an extra bass feature as well. So if you want to have a little bit of a bass boost in some of those more action-packed movies, then you certainly can do so. Obviously you don't have to, but you can do that if you want to. And actually on the indicator light on the bottom, that will change colours depending on which mode you're in. So it starts up in default in a green LED, changes to the higher frequencies, and then it jumps to red, and you can change it to orange for the bass boost, all those kinds of things. Again, all of that's in the instruction manual, so you don't have to get too bogged down by it. And actually the EQ boost does make a difference. I did listen to Hot Fuzz yesterday, a movie, which is on Amazon Prime at the moment, and going through the different settings, it definitely does give you a noticeable difference in sound quality or profile. It does sound definitely different. It's not one of those buttons where it just makes things sound weird or overinflated. There definitely was a difference, and I did find in Hot Fuzz especially, increasing the spatial sound from the stereo to the kind of virtual 7.1 actually did make the film a lot more enjoyable and a lot more immersive. Moving back to controls, the up and down buttons for the volume up and down, actually when it's in use does seem very natural. When you've got it on your head and it's marked left and right, so you know which is which, actually changing the volume settings does feel very natural. You've got up in the up position, you've got down in the down position, and in the middle is the EQ, so it's nice and easy to change. On the other side we've got a power button, so just press and hold that to turn it on, or press and hold it to turn it off. And if you want to do a factory reset or repairing, just press and hold it for about 10 seconds and it resets the system. All of the charging is done from the headset at the top here, so you've got these 3 pins which match up with the 3 pins on the top of the dock there. So as soon as you put it down on there, the spring-loaded pins make a contact and start charging. Really nice and simple. And I was thinking that actually that section was going to be a little bit problematic because it would actually you'd feel that on the top of your head, but they've actually designed it so it is recessed a little bit. And with that nice padding on there, which is actually quite firm, it doesn't actually touch your head, so it doesn't actually make contact at all, which is excellent. The headband itself is another thing which is a little bit of an odd decision in my personal opinion. The colour of the actual arms and the section here, almost like a sort of platinum colour. It's not quite silver and it's not quite black chrome, it's kind of somewhere in between. Yeah, I'm not too sure what you would call the colour. It's almost got a hint of brown in it as well. So again, they have taken some slightly unusual choices in the colours on this. Personally, again, I'd have preferred it to all be matte black, but again, I do think it looks pretty stylish. It doesn't look too bad at all. Got a little bit of swivel on the cups there. There's no sideways movement at all, but actually because of the depth of the cups and the padding, you don't really seem to need that anyway. It does fit on my head very, very nicely. You have got some adjustment as well, so you've got an adjustable band on the side, say on both sides, so you can choose which setting is best for you. And actually there's not a great deal of play in there or wiggle, so it's a pretty decent mechanism, and it does actually kind of lock into place relatively well and does kind of hold in place, so that's a nice thing to see. So like I said, the padding on there is really nice, really thick, really firm, does feel quite nice, and they are generally very comfortable. Again, I watched Hot Fuzz and that's about a 2-hour movie and there's absolutely no problems at all. Didn't feel very sweaty or uncomfortable, and when I took them off after, it wasn't like, oh, what a relief. It was just like, okay, I'm done, what next? And it's great because all you need to do is just stick them back on the charging dock and they're ready for the next time you want to use them. Now some of you are probably wondering, if you're plugging it into a TV, can other people still use it? Are the volume controls separate? All that kind of stuff. Now from what I can tell from my limited exposure to these at the moment, if you plug them in using the Toslink cable, the optical cable, or using the phono jacks on the back of your TV, that then will still allow you to control the TV as you would normally with your remote control, so the TV speakers won't be affected. You can still use them up and down. So perhaps maybe you can press mute on the TV or put the speakers on the lowest volume and then listen through your headset. Or if maybe you've got someone who's slightly harder of hearing than you and you don't want to be deafened whenever you're watching a movie with them, then you can give them the headset and they can adjust the volume accordingly and you can listen to it at a normal volume. If you're using the 3.5mm jack plug in either the headset mode standalone or actually from the unit itself, if that's plugged into a headphone socket on the TV, that will normally in most televisions disable the onboard speakers in the TV. So obviously that will then make it so if you want to use the speakers, you would have to unplug that. So depending on your TV, how it's set up, you may have to look into the manual to see what the deal is. Again, with most monitors, TVs, etc., if you plug in anything to a headphone socket, it normally does divert the sound, although in some TVs you may have a menu which will give you an option to have sound on speakers and headphone or separate it, whatever the case may be. But that is really down to you and your own TV. But essentially for me, I found this to be actually a very enjoyable experience. I was expecting it to be basically not very good, but it's very enjoyable. There's virtually no detectable lag at all. So when you're watching things, if you're lip syncing, it does look exactly as it does on the screen. So that's a really big step up from Bluetooth technology, where there's always a little bit of a lag, more so with some apps as well. Again, if you're using this on a TV, which has got smart TV with apps, it's going to be absolutely fine with things like Netflix, Amazon Prime Movies, all those kinds of things. If you're running as an app, you're not going to have any noticeable lag, which is absolutely awesome. The sound quality overall, I found very, very good. Loudness, definitely got plenty of loudness, although that is going to be dependent on how hot your signal is coming out of your TV or the device you're plugging it into, so obviously do take that into consideration. Your mileage may vary, but certainly if you do buy it from Amazon, then obviously you've got the 30-day money back guarantee, so if you don't get on with them, then obviously just send them back. There is at the moment a discount code available on Amazon, so you can get about 10% off the price of these at the moment, so certainly if you're thinking about it in the run for Christmas, definitely click on the links in the video description and you can find out more. So that has been the wireless rechargeable stereo TV headphones. I've been Mike, this is Mike's Unboxing Reviews and How To, and hopefully we'll see you in the very next video. Oh, and if you want to win them, join our Discord. Thanks for watching.